So, a very good evening to all of you. Today, we have yet another topper with us for NABARD 2023. And you can see Darshan is sitting in front of us. And what to tell about Darshan? Because all of you know that whosoever is working right in any capacity, especially those who are working in banks, it becomes very difficult to qualify for this examination. But people like Darshan and few other people have set the example that if you want really, right, you can just switch over or upgrade your career. So we will know from Darshan only what are the things, how he managed the time in this topper's talk. First of all, before that, Darshan, my heartiest congratulations to you for your grand success in NABARD 2023.
Thank you so much, sir. And also, I thank you for the guidance that you have provided. That had helped me a lot.
Thank you. Thank you. Thanks for the gesture, Darshan. Now, coming on to your background, Darshan, means what was your educational background, graduation and all?
So my graduation is in BSc Horticulture from Shumoga Agriculture University. And after that, I had joined Union Bank of India in 2020.
2020. And was this your first or second attempt in NABARD? This one as a generalist?
As a generalist, this is a second attempt, sir. As
Okay.
a whole, this is my fourth attempt.
Okay, fine. Means earlier you used to give any specialization in agri or horti, whatever it may be.
Yeah.
Right. This is also a lesson for the agri or the horti graduates that they can also just fight in generalist seat, right?
Yeah, yes, sir. Actually, I was more comfortable with the generalist stream itself.
Because of the syllabus is same, right? So that's pretty much better. Okay, now coming on to the first part I was saying, this is the concern of most of the working people, right? Especially those who are working in banks. How you used to manage the timing with the work in the bank? Pressure is more, right? So
Yes,
how
sir.
you manage the time means what are the motivation levels? So if you can explain the management of the time, it will help many bankers as well in the coming days.
Yes, sir. Especially for those who are working in banks, it's highly impossible to focus during evening hours because usually we'll reach home by 7:38. Sometimes it will be 9 also. So we can't depend on the evening hours. So what I used to do is I used to reserve morning hours every day. Like I used to wake up at 4:30. So 4:30 to 8:30 was my schedule each day. I mean, every day it was my schedule, so that during that time, I mean, nobody can disturb me because it's early morning. Even the office people, or I don't have any disturbance during that time. So I could easily manage like 4 hours in the morning and evening if it is possible, like 1 hour, maximum 1 hour. So
Okay.
that is how I managed the time.
Okay, that's very good because most of the people do not want to sacrifice their sleep, right? But you have done that. And if you have done that, the God has seen that and God has given you the result also. That this people is sacrificing his sleep when everybody is sleeping. Let this person be get selected this time, right? Okay, that's good thing. And that is also a good strategy, I think. Many aspirants who are working can follow this. Definitely, as you saw that there is a peace of mind in the morning, right?
Yes,
Your
sir.
mind is fresh. Whatever you read, right, the things come well in your mind. So that is very good thing, very good suggestion given by Darshan. Those who are working, you can apply this. So for how many days you have followed this schedule, Darshan? Means waking up in the morning for how many months?
Sir, almost for 6 months I had followed this. Starting from my prelims till the interview, I had followed this because I don't have any other option. So that it's not like I can manage time during evening hours and all. It's not at all possible. So throughout my preparation, I had stick to the same time period.
Okay, so really, it's we can say it's a sadhana, but we in Hindi we use the word because see 1 day, 2 day, 3 day. Some people do this, try to do this, but doing continuously for 6 months is really right. Right, you have done this, and that's why you have got this result. That's very motivational. That's very motivational. Now coming on to the management of the subjects, Darshan, as you are already a banker, so I think the non-merit section was easy for you. You could have done
Yes.
easy. Merit section, ESI and ARD means how do you manage the things?
Sir, with respect to ESI, I focused very less on the static portion because as I have seen every year's questions, there is more questions in the current affairs itself, especially with respect to ESI. When in my previous attempts, I had did that mistake by focusing more on static portion. So this time I had restricted it to current affairs, especially PIB. PIB is like a holy book for NABARD preparation. What I used to do is I used to refer PIB directly from the PIB website itself. So I used to make my own notes, and after that, I used to refer supplementary notes from the coaching institute's PDF. So that helped me a lot for the objective and both the subjective, because in PAB, few of the topics will be repetitive every day. So from that, I can get to know what are the topics that are currently in news, and I get the content like further points for the descriptive questions also. And with respect to ARD, we have to give equal importance for static and current affairs. For static ARD portion, I depended on the PDF of Clarity for Sure itself. It is a good material for static portion. And for current affairs, again PAB. PAB and the monthly compilations is very much important. And in both ESI and ARD, schemes plays a very key role. Schemes are very important.
Right. And for the new beginners, Darshan, uh, many people they take the magazine 300, 400 schemes, they start reading. So what was your take? Do you also used to study so many schemes, or do you have you restricted yourself in this?
No, sir. As I said, I had very less time. It was important for me to know what not to study rather than what to study. So I had filtered many schemes. Like I had prepared like maximum 40 schemes, only 40 schemes which were related to NABARD syllabus. Maybe it is agriculture, rural development. So only few ministries I had preferred, and daily I used to refer one scheme per day for around like 1.5 months. I did that one scheme per day, where I used to get. I used to cover every angle of that scheme.
Right. So, do you used to spend your time in reading the official guidelines of the schemes as well?
No, sir. I used to open the PDFs, government PDFs, but in that I used to refer only the introduction and the features that will be given in the beginning of the PDF, because the whole PDF will be very much bulky. We can't cover that. So I used to refer only the initial pages.
Okay, fine. So after the prelims was over, right? When the phase 2 of the exam comes, right? This is I think is the main, right? In phase 1, because 1:25 selection ratio is there.
Yeah.
So if your preparation is not up to mark, also you get into phase 2 by any on.
Yeah.
But phase 2 is the real fight because of the 1:3 ratio that will happen.
Yeah.
In this scenario, how do you manage the thing? For your objective part and the subjective part are different, right? So how do you manage both the things being working? Means do you used to write answers, or what was your overall strategy?
So for objective, I prepared simultaneously for both prelims and mains, because whenever I used to study current affairs, I studied along with both for the prelims and mains with respect to objectives. But for subjective, it was different, because in my previous attempts, I used to focus both on my typing speed and the content. But this time, since I was confident with respect to my typing speed, I just focused on the content aspect of the answers. Especially with respect to essay writing, it was like apart from the topic-wise preparation, I also prepared sector-wise also. For example, we don't know what topic will be asked. So if we prepare sector-wise, whatever the topic they asked, I can fill in at least few points. For example, if I prepare education sector, I used to sit for 2-3 days only for educational sector only, so that I used to cover as much as points possible in education sector, so that whatever they ask, I can at least be able to answer that, even though not the best answer, but I can answer it in an average way. And with respect to the subjective, the other second paper, descriptive paper, this time I focused more on the topics that are in news. Maybe it is agriculture marketing or the cooperative sector. And this again, I got the idea from PIB itself, because these topics were repeatedly in news. So those topics only I prepared for the subjective also. Right.
Now, one person who has studied, right? You are also prepared. And when you go to the examination hall for the phase 2 of the exam, a situation comes right when there is time constant and you have to answer a lot of questions, especially in the descriptive case. So how do you manage the pressure over there? Means, has it happened that some question came new to you, you didn't knew, but how do you manage to answer that questions? What are the practical scenario over there?
Sir, when we are in the exam hall, what we usually do is we will be coordinating both with the monitor and the keyboard. That usually happens because we'll be scared whether I'm typing some grammar mistakes or the spelling mistakes. But what I did is I completely was seeing my keyboard when I was typing. I never looked on the monitor until I finished the answer. I just was seeing my keyboard, and once I completed the answer, then I'll go for scrutinizing the answer if there is some mistakes. That can reduce a bit of time by shifting our concentration from monitor to keyboard. And with respect to content, I added like a few statistics points. Like I always prepared like 4 to 5 points in each sector, so that whatever the answer, I used to add like 2 to 3 statistics in the answer.
One more thing is in English descriptive, and we have seen in the RBI also, in the board also, the marks in English is quite dynamic. It's means, yeah, somebody, if somebody gets 70 first year, maybe he is getting 58 in the next year. It happens.
Yeah.
So how have you managed the English portion? Have you used the Grammarly applications? Means, what are the things you taken care of while writing the English paper?
Writing essay, yes, I focused on grammatic portions also, because we have to focus on where we have to stop the sentence, and where we have to stop the paragraphs. And with respect to few technical words, there will be few words where you have to compulsorily use capital letters in the beginning. I think such things also matters while we are writing essay. And with respect to precision writing, there are certain rules and regulations which we had to follow. Apart from the word limit, in precision writing, we had to follow it. It has to be very simpler, but it has to be convincing. And in letter writing, the format is very important.
Right. Right. And one more thing is that when you have written your essay for English, have you used statistics and all while writing the essay portion of the English descriptive?
Yes, sir. I had used some maybe around 3 to 4 statistics points, but it's not necessarily like I used an accurate number. It's not like I used like each number was very accurate. No, it was around approximate statistics were used. I mean, there should not be much diversion, but we can use approximate statistics also.
Okay, okay, that's good. Because we have listened or we have observed that if you mention the statistics, at least it should not be accurate, but it helps in fetching marks in IBPS based exams. Yeah, that is right suggestion, I think. Now coming on to the last thing, that when you have completed your entire process, psychometric test and this, when you appeared for the interview, so how was your experience over there, the real experience over there?
When I compare a NABARD interview with other interviews, I think the panel is very jovial with respect to NABARD. I mean, the first thing they do is they make us comfortable to give the answers. Though it's online, we feel very comfortable to answer. And with respect to questions, I think my interview was quite different, because when I asked other people about the review, they said that they got some technical questions related to their graduation and all. But I didn't get a single question related to my graduation, or it was not related to my experience, and it was not related to NABARD also. It was more like a discussion kind of questions. I mean, everything they asked was like maybe kind of opinion based and situational based questions. So it was more like a discussion for me.
Okay, good, good, good. And Darshan, see, as you told that you tried to have expertise on the things what not to do, right? There are so many things. So, any three things would you suggest for the 2024 aspirants they should not do while preparing for this exam, especially?
I think they should focus less on the statistic portion of ESI. Sorry, I mean the static portion of ESI. Because the less questions will be asked from starting, we have to focus more on the current affairs aspect. And the other thing, don't depend 100% on the other notes. You have to prepare your own notes and then supplement it with other notes.
Right.
And other
it should
thing
not
is
be spoon feeding, right? They have to put on their efforts.
because spoon feeding doesn't help you for the subjective descriptive answer writing. It might help for the objective, but it won't
Right.
help for the subjective one. And the other thing is with respect to reports, the census report or the agriculture census report, I feel they're outdated as of now. I mean, I have seen people spending a lot of time for that reports. I mean, memorizing each and every data from those reports. So I think people have to avoid that, and you have to depend on any fresh reports that have been released recently.
Right. Right. That's a good suggestion. Right. If you want to read agri census, then I think 7-8 points are more than enough. The crux of that.
Yeah.
More than enough. Yeah. That is right. One more thing I would like to say to the future aspirants, see how Darshan is answering whatever I'm asking. See his body language, see how he's speaking. Definitely this way of speaking definitely has given good marks in the interview. This is also Darshan important, right? Because I have seen
Yeah,
when I
yeah.
took the marks for the students, see if you do not have the body language, it will not show the confidence. Whatever knowledge you have, they will give you less marks.
Yeah.
So if you really want to get into NABARD or RBI, apart from studying, you have to develop your personality as well. That is
And
very important.
for that, I think I can give one tip for the aspirants. Whenever you're going to interview, I think before that, if there is any other person who is preparing for an interview, I think you have to discuss with them each day, like half an hour at least, over the phone or in person if they're available. Just discuss the topics and ask them to throw questions at you, like whatever the kind of questions that can be asked, so that every day when you discuss, you will be covering maximum questions, and it will also improve your communication also.
Right, right. So this is very, very, very important after 2021 when the marks of interview has been increased to 50 marks. You cannot think of selection until and unless you don't improve your personality. If it's on lower
Yeah.
side, confidence, way of speaking. So way he was speaking was very good, right? So that should also be taken into consideration, I think.
Yeah.
Okay, Darshan, thank you for your valuable time. I think the insights will definitely help the bankers and the other aspirants to prepare for the examination, and best of luck from my side for all your future endeavors.
Thank you, sir. Thank you so much for the wishes and also for the guidance.
Thank you. Okay, Darshan.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.